want to see. I was actually scheduled to, to stream, myself just, you know, playing video games and shit like that. Um, yeah, but basically that's still on. You know what I'm saying? I had basically scheduled it to be at 1 o'clock. Um, so now I'm just actually being a little bit ahead. Just streaming a little bit an hour later. I mean, an hour earlier. This just um, me trying to get myself to not actually fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hey, seems like I got two people. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are y'all? Hopefully y'all can hear me. How are y'all? Hey, welcome. Uh, yeah, I was just actually just waiting to stream myself playing a video game. What's up? Hey, user 31. What's up? What's good? What's good? Um, yeah, I'm alright. How about you? I was just basically waiting to actually stream. Uh, I had actually scheduled a live stream for at 1 o'clock GMT plus two. Um, so now I'm just basically streaming a little bit earlier, an hour earlier. Uh, I haven't slept, bruh. I haven't slept. You know what I'm saying? So, I actually thought that I was gonna come back from work and sleep. You know, but then because I was busy editing videos and stuff like that, and then and some of my side hustles as well on the side. So eventually I didn't sleep. So the thought of me actually sleeping, um, it terrified me because I just basically thought I'm gonna sleep and not wake up. Yeah, bro. So I actually thought I'm gonna sleep and not wake up because I had actually, I had, I had, I had a live stream scheduled um, for an hour from now, and I actually also have a game to watch. The FIFA Club World Cup, Chelsea is playing, so I'm still waiting to watch the game as well. So I just thought, nah, fuck it, I'm not gonna sleep since I'm not going to work tomorrow, which is awesome. I prefer working at home on weekends. So yeah, bruh, like you don't know, bruh. I'm so fucking sleepy, but then the hustle never sleeps, bruh. That's why I'm basically here. You know what I mean? So so I'm still up at this time. So it's actually 11 minutes past 12 on this side. So the time zone I'm at, it's GMT plus two. Um, yeah, bro, I definitely need some sleep, bro. It's been a hell of a week. This week has been insane, bro. It has been insane. I think what has been actually taking my sleep is whenever I would come back from work, um, I come back from work. I just basically start doing my home workouts, and then I get busy with some of my side hustles, and creating videos as well. Um, and that shit makes me sleep so late. The thing is, I wake up so early because I have to clock in at 7 o'clock, which is insane, bruh. So it seems like we're in the same time zone. It's also 11 minutes past 12 on your end, all the way from Germany. Ah man, ah man, it's good to link up. It's good to link up. It would have been actually nice if I was to actually call you by name. So now I'm just basically start calling you user 31. But thanks for the link up though, man. Thanks for the link up. Praise Obona. Hi, how are you? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you're doing good. Oh no, no, I'm not Nigerian, bro. Do I look Nigerian? You know, you wanna know the craziest thing is, ever since I have been doing, some of my YouTube videos, there were actually some people who thought that I'm actually from the United States, which is insane, bro. Which is insane. I'm not even from the U.S. I'm actually all the way from SA, bro. But it's nice to connect with my fellow Africans as well. Oh no, bro. No, bro. I'm not from the USA. I'm not from the USA. Well, it's actually good that I looked the part. Then it means um, yeah, I'm all the way from SA, bro. All the way from SA, South Africa. You remember the country that hosted the 2010 World Cup? That was like what now? 15 years ago. Shit, time flies, bro. Time flies. Oh my days. Yeah, but it's actually nice to link up from with people from some from other countries. Um, my name. Well, you see the name on my YouTube channel. I think you see it somewhere. That's actually my name, like my real name. The name that you see on my YouTube channel. That's actually my name. That's my real name. That's my real name. I just you know um I've seen like quite a lot like on YouTube and like in most social media platforms. People like actually calling themselves, with by their different names. I mean, like nicknames and things like that. So I basically just thought that, let me just be real with it. Um, let me not filter it. You know, so I think it's actually, I think it kind of like it kind of dives in and gels in with what I'm planning to do with my YouTube channel, in the future, because I just want to be real, you know. I don't wanna I don't wanna filter anything. I just wanna be real. Um, creates content that's real. Um, bro, but it's quite understandable. It's quite understandable. I understand. That's quite understand. Um, what time is it? What usually is it gonna be like in next 15 minutes, or you still like? Is it like random, or is it like the time fixed? Um, for your night prayers. Is it like 12:30, or maybe it's like it's just random as long as it's midnight or something of that sort. Um, yeah, I would actually like you know visit other countries. Sometime in the future, and just basically learn a little bit more. About their values, about their beliefs as well. Um, it would be actually an amazing experience. Uh, you know, it's actually quite insane being a person who likes to travel, but you don't really travel. It's insane, bro. It's insane. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So it does kind of seem like he was a little bit behind schedule. Yeah. I wonder what were you up to? So is it more of like a group session, or is it, is it just, specifically just you, um, or in the fam or something of that sort? Oh yeah, yeah. So like, what do you mean from sunset to there? Um, what do you mean? Please elaborate that for me. You know. Yes. Yes, praise. It's actually, yeah, that's actually my name. So if you like, you have a, if you see, I think you actually see on my YouTube channel, like my name, there's a space, between PhiL and Sabela. There's a space there. Okay, so basically the Sabela is my surname, yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. It's a crazy story, eventually how I actually was, uh, called, Phil. So it was back in high school, quite a long time ago. Um, I always wanted to study medicine at that time. Like, I wanted to study medicine at that time. So basically, with my classmates, um, because of the fact that, I used to like the show, the Dr. Phil show. I'm sure if you remember that. Like, it was way back then, you know. So, so they kind of like mixed, two and two, like, oh, one and one, I would say, because of that show. And I wanted to study medicine. So they would actually call me Dr. Phil. And that name kind of like, stuck with me up until I eventually went to varsity. Um, well, because of the fact that um, I didn't eventually study medicine, I kind of like omitted the doctor and just basically, stuck with Phil. But then it's actually, a shortened name for my full name. All right. Yeah, it's a beautiful name. Oh, thank you so much. You are too kind. Um, okay, so you saying when the sun goes down, there's evening prayer, and when it's complete dark till midnight, it's night prayer. Okay, so you're very religious. That's actually awesome. Um, I would say because personally as well, I'm really on a journey, into seeking God, um, seeking Jesus Christ, for Him to be actually be my savior. Um, it's a, I don't know what I call it. I don't want to say it's a long, lonely road. But then I'm just basically going to say it because it does make you feel like I'm alone. Because at the moment, you know, it's like I'm not really, you know, really. I feel like I'm not really trying my best to actually connect with him. You know, um, I do actually try to, to speak to people, you know, who are who are already on their journey. Just to basically find out a little bit of, um, of guidance. Some tips. You know. Um, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Definitely, I would like that. Yeah, sure. I would definitely like that. Because it's it's um it's a lonely road. You know. Um, you know, trying to actually figure out, trying to actually understand what is it that you have to do, what is it that you have to, you know, say besides just praying. You get what I mean? You know, because I mean, like a prayer can only go so far, you know, but you know, if you are not really like genuinely connected, it's you know, it's really gonna feel like a lonely road because you know people, you know, most people that I've seen who are on the journey, um, it's like they can actually hear his voice, you know. So I'm actually hoping that you know I eventually um, get into that part of my life as well, where I'm actually able to connect with him spiritually, to a point where I'm actually able, you know, um, to hear his voice. Um, so yeah, like some advice, some tips, they will be like they will really go a long way, because yeah, it's been a lonely road, I would say. So there are some things that that I've seen, online on the internet, that whenever you want to be somebody, you have to mix and connect with certain people who are already on that path. Um, yeah. So um, okay. So I'm just basically trying to read your question. So you're basically asking what's my current state are you at? So you're asking like I'm at like one religion, or I'm just trying to understand the concept itself. Okay. So I think it's actually a little bit of um because basically the religion is actually Christianity. Okay. Um, but trying to actually understand the concept of it, like I think it's actually a different like topic, I would say, because um, you know the concept of it, I would say I have a little bit of like some basics, because I actually grew up in a religious family. Back then when I was young, like my grandmother used to actually have um, a church, um, basically in around the yard. So like there would be people who would actually come in and worship and things like that. So what happened was, I think I actually fell off as I grew up. I got to actually understand certain things in different way, and I started to question a lot of things. You know, so I don't know. Maybe that was actually the part of growing up, or or what was happening. Um, I started to be a little bit more involved. You know, you know, in things that are happening around the world in general. You know. Um, so and I just basically fell off. And I remember there was this time, back at the university, I would actually feel, that I've actually lost that faith, you know, um, because I remember, prior, to me actually going there, I used to, pray a lot, even though I wasn't actually even going to church, but then I was actually praying quite a lot, you know. I remember even before I got like enrolled, um, I used to, whenever I was praying, I was actually praying like something was already happening. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of like, to me, it was a little bit similar to the law of attraction. Um, so, like with most people nowadays, like I would say maybe like the Western culture, like understands law of attraction as, you have to kind of like meditate. You have to kind of like um, visualize, and all of those things. So for me, like, law of attraction was actually praying, and praying in the sense that, something that I'm actually hoping to achieve is already happening. You know what I mean? So, like, for instance, um, before I actually got enrolled into the university, I would, I would pray like I was already there. You know. So each and every time, whenever I was praying as if like I'm already there. So whatever that was actually, bound to happen, when I got there, I was praying as if it has already happened. So, when I eventually got there, I would actually say that, that's where I actually fell off, you know, and I started to actually kind of like question myself. This is like, where I'm really at with my faith. I would really actually love to actually connect with the higher power, with God Himself. So I'm basically trying to restart, that journey. So yeah, let me just quickly, read through what you sent through to me. Um, okay, so you just basically telling me that you went through much, and okay, not many people have, because everybody sticks only to one, but missing the truth in every one of them. Okay, okay. So in my own understanding, so you saying, that, most people are just basically, um, what else that we talked about here? Basically religion, and then they were sticking to one religion, but actually missing the truth in every one of them. Mm. Okay, so that's basically, I think that's actually true. I think that's very true. You know, the reason why is because, I've tend to actually notice that, people in certain, in certain religion, um, they tend to never really understand people, you know, in different like religion. So they kind of like, I don't want to put it in a word, like in a word that says they crucify their values, their beliefs, because of the fact that, they just don't really understand what it is that they actually believe in. So yeah, I think, that's actually true. Um, but I don't know if ever you as a person on that journey, you get to a point where your belief is actually questioned, and it's so questioned to a point where you yourself, you eventually doubt it. I mean, then what are you praying for? What are you believing in? It's. I think you should actually do a self introspection then, and basically just ask yourself, what is it? What is it that I really believe in? What am I praying for? You know, who is the God I'm actually praying to? So yeah, I mean, those things tend to happen. You get to a point where people question your decisions, people question your values, people question your beliefs, your morals. But it's always up to you to just basically, stick to what I really hope that I would, I don't know, find a group or something of that sort, a group of, of maybe a community where I could actually enhance my spiritual journey. Um, but yeah, it's just it's just really like a sensitive topic. So like, really forgive me if I do sound a little bit down, but yeah, okay. So I'm gonna read your message in a moment. I'm gonna read your message shortly. Just wanna charge this device. It's running low battery. Okay. Um, so yeah, I just wanna quickly read through these messages real quickly. Just give me a minute. Okay. So basically, you're telling me that in Islam you believe that God is one, which is true. That's my belief as well. And over time, He sent prophets to all nations of the world. Some rejected them, some killed them, some followed them, some had many followers, some has some had less. Okay. Uh, okay. That's how some people got tested with other commandments. But there are so many parallels in religions, from fasting to covering, so on and so on. Okay, so the Mongols believed in multiple gods. One did drag the sun. One give the soul to the mother's stomach. But in Islam, we know indeed these specific gods are angels that do not. Okay, it's a little bit peculiar. Okay, it's just a little bit peculiar. But then, I did actually get the first point where you talked about, the belief that the God is one. But then, there were prophets that were actually sent, in different nations. Some were rejected, some were killed, some were followed. Some had many followers, some had less. Okay, of which is actually what we are seeing now in today's world. That's actually really happening. Okay, you have different kinds of religions, and each and every like religion has a certain number of following, you know, and that's it kind of creates this environment where people believe in what they believe in based on the fact that they look at let's say the church where I'm at, or the religion where I'm at, how many followers does it have in general, um, and then it ends up being a little bit of a chaos, to a point where people start to think that, oh, just because I'm in this specific religion, that means there is this specific God, um, and then that's where this segregation comes in, um, where people believe that there are different gods and whatnot, you know, because like personally, I just basically believe in there is only one God. There's only one. I'm not really gonna say person because he's he's higher than that. He's higher than the human. Looking at what he has actually created, the world, nature, um, you know, um, humans, um, different kinds of animals, and all of that. So like I genuinely believe that there's only one God. But then I can't really speak for um, different religions. Everybody believes in what they believe in, or in what they believe in. Um, it's that you have. It's about your faith that you have. So yeah, it's I don't really have um, to be honest, I don't really have um, you know that much of a background when it comes to religious topics, and things like that, because of the fact that, just like I had actually mentioned, um, that over the years I actually fell off, you know from my connection with the higher power, with God. Um, so now I'm actually on a journey on trying to actually rediscover that, because in a world of so many distractions, I found myself distracted as well, you know. So yeah, so basically here I am, and I'm just basically, I'm basically just starting over, and you know, trying to get better, trying to get better. Um, uh, yeah, okay. So, okay, this is very interesting.
Hey,
Um, so basically, the Jews, the Christians, and the Islams, they have. Uh, so you're basically telling me they don't eat pork at all, or is it like it's forbidden? But then there are actually some people who eat it. That would actually. Um, I'm very curious to actually know that. You know, and then you said, um, okay. So you said that covering for the women is in the Torah and Bible. So basically, oh, oh my God, what the hell? Oh my days. I should. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. Is it because I'm a millennial? Our Gen Z, we're using quite a lot of ChatGPT these days. We basically ask them like for everything. Oh yeah. Yes, I mean that's basically how it should be. Don't you think so? I personally think that it doesn't really matter which religion you at or whatnot. At the end of the day, we're all the same. We praise the same um, God, because at the end of the day, there's one God who created the universes, the galaxies, and whatnot. But that's my belief. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Just like I said earlier, the distractions. We got so distracted by a lot of things. That's why there is a segregation even in religion. You know, this segregation is not only just in religion, it's in a lot, it's in a lot of, in a lot of interests. Um, it's like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, you know. So, at the end of the day, we should be um, we should be uniting, coming together, and not just basically try to interpret everything, because sometimes not everything is as it seems. Not everything is as it seems. Yeah, hopefully you get what I mean. But yeah, so yeah, I think maybe it's really, it's not really just because like we're interpreting. I think we started having a lot of questions, you know. So, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why eventually, there was this segregation, and people started coming in with different laws. Um, People from the higher ups, and it just basically messed up everything, you know. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, okay. So he says he forgives every sin except denying him and taking God beside him. Okay. So in a sense that he is, he is God. He is your God if you are a believer. Hmm. Oh yes, yes, exactly. Oh my God. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that I've actually been dying to kind of like have this type of conversation. You know, it's like I've always wanted to have it, but then I've always met people who had I don't know, like different kinds of beliefs where you know there wasn't really trying to actually explain it right. I think it's you know the reason behind that. I think is actually the what is this the interpretation. that we talked about. So because of that, I think it's one of the reasons why like a lot of people started to struggle with, you know, um, with the, actually understanding that there is only one God. But then what happens is, God is called in different languages, in different countries, and so on and so on. But then there's actually only one God. All of these people, they pray to one God. But then, people started making it seem like, it's basically a different God, you know, just because, their tradition allows them to pray in a certain way or in a specific way, you know. So, yeah, 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 that's very interesting. That's very interesting, you know. Mm, yeah, because history says there's one. Yeah, history never talked about, you know, too many of them. It spoke about one, and it's amazing to know all of this. It's really amazing. uh, uh, yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, like, I really think, maybe you and I should actually connect some other way, you know, so that, we would, kind of like have these conversations if you want to. Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you're actually saying, basically most of the stuff that I have been, um, so curious about. And most of it, some of the things that I have been um, really believing in it. But then, because of all the noise around and then, the interpretations and things like that, it just became so, I would say, so disorganized to a point where um, I was stuck in this loop of actually thinking that, maybe people are actually right into saying that there are different gods. But then my main belief was actually being, um, that there is only one God, and all of us pray to that God. And then, people started making, the segregation, to saying that, they are different. Um, even, okay, now I understand. I would really love to connect with you. I don't know if ever there's a way I could actually reach out to you. Um, just let me know. Uh, you know, or you can also like email me on my there's an email on my profile. You can email me there, and then we can actually carry on with this conversation sometime. Yeah, maybe Discord as well is fine. Yeah, maybe Discord as well is fine. I do have a Discord account. Um, yeah, maybe you can email me your Discord credentials or something, and I can, you know, I can actually, get to edge you in a way. Right. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting my 1 o'clock stream. Um, so yeah, I'm basically closing this one. Um, yeah, it's been really amazing to connect with you. Such a shame that I have to keep calling you user 31. Yeah. Yeah, my email email is on my bio. Like, look at my YouTube bio. You'll find my email there.
Yeah, you'll
You'll
find
find
my
my
email.
email there. Email me, and then we'll chat. We'll chat. You know. So yeah, I really appreciate taking your time and explaining quite a lot of this. Um, yeah, it's highly appreciated. Highly appreciated. Yeah, I actually have to close this stream off. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. You can do that as well. It's fine. Send me your WhatsApp, um, via my email, and then we'll chat. You know, and we'll have a conversation about this. All right. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll also get to know your name. Hey. Nice to meet you. Yeah, we're gonna connect on WhatsApp. Yeah, so really, thank you so much to everybody who pulled through. I'm actually gonna go and start my 1 o'clock stream. Um, yeah, the grind never sleeps. Hopefully, as time progresses, I'll eventually have so many people, in the conversation. But as that one person that I go to conversate with, for me, that's all, that's all that matters. Humble beginnings. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, bro, for through and having this conversation with me. Please reach out to my email so that we can connect. Peace.